G'day and welcome to another episode of The Shootout. I'm Simon Orchard and these happy faces belong to Adam Clifford and Kate Allman. As always, we're here to discuss everything that's happening in the Sultana brand Hockey One Leg. Let's dive straight into it, guys. What caught your eye this week? Cliffo, you're going to open the batting, mate. Chris Borza and Halloween. Why? Tell us more.
Yeah, Orch, picture 16 guys hovering over my phone at the Crown Casino with about 6% battery. And we were riding the Perth v Tigers epic penalty shootout, and I was just fascinated by Chris Borza's windmill routine. Now, Chris looks a bit like a science major to me, the kind that in a few years could draw comparisons to Dr. Emmett Brown from Back to the Future, but I'm told he's got plenty of confidence in his own ability. And as you can see here, Henry Chambers was a little bit standoffish by this unorthodox approach, and around he goes with pirouettes, putting Henry on his backside to score. Now, he must have been hoping for a similar result to just walk in or finish it with a little tommer, but credit to Chambers for staying upright and mobile to save on the second attempt. But let's just consider how hard it would have been to execute that routine under pressure, guys. And then on a lighter note was HC Melbourne's wonderful Halloween celebration that I saw on socials. And check out these images of both Lee and Keith from Gogglebox. And I just love the Kath and Kim tracksuit here. It was great work from the team, and I'm wondering which of these was your favourite, Orch?
Well, look, let me just start by saying I'm going to be the old man of the group. No to Halloween for me. I don't buy candy. I don't dress up the house. If kids knock on the door, I pretend I'm not here. It's an Americanised thing. But look, good on Hockey Club Melbourne for getting into the spirit. I love a good dress up for the right purpose, of course, but I'm more interested in the Bucks party haggling around the phone after watching movies like The Hangover, where they're fighting tigers or stealing tigers and getting up to all sorts of mischief. You're watching a game of hockey. So, look, I'm not going to judge too much, Cliffo, but I'm sure you had a great weekend. Maybe it's some chat for the shootout up late, potentially later on. Kate, you've been stalking socials as well, and you found maybe a future hockey star that you want to talk about.
Yeah, that's right, Orch. So last week we talked about Hockeyroos and Kookaburra Bolters, who might be named next in the national squad. I think I have found the next generation of superstars. Take a look at this shot from young Felix Wetton. He's 4 years old, the son of Jake, single-handed belter already. Take a look at this. He's already sending lasers into the back fence at only 4 years old. And I reckon when Jake retires, that will not be the last we see of the Wetton name in Brisbane Blaze. He's also got a little sister, Marley. At the moment, she's sort of been roped in as the goalkeeper for most of the time, but I reckon in a couple of years she'll be able to hit them as well as he is. And then the other thing I noticed is just this great sign-off from the Hook into Hockey coin tosser on Thursday night's game against Canberra and Adelaide Fire. Meet young Oliver Haynes. He has the best sign-off I've seen, and I reckon, Orch, you've got a good one in the hooroo, but maybe try this one out.
I'll let you get ready for your coin toss, but good luck tonight.
All right. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
I like it. Look, we've seen this with the Oz kicker in the AFL. Often you see some great interviews from these little tackers on the sideline, so that was wonderful to see. And you mentioned Felix Wetton, son of Jake. Also, very important, Kate, son of Sam. I know she'll like getting a shout-out on the shootout, so son of Sam as well. And you never know where these videos are going to end up. You know, I've watched the video of a young Tiger Woods on the TV show many, many years ago. Who knows? In 10, 15 years, maybe they're digging out those videos of young Felix Wetton and Marley, and they're playing for the Kookaburras or the Hockeyroos. So that's a good one.
And we will have discovered them, Orch. We can claim that then in 10, 20 years when we're, somewhere off retired, no doubt on an island of your own.
Oh, wouldn't that be good? Talent manager, Kate Allman. Look, this is purely by chance, but what caught my eye involved Jake Wetton as well. So it's a good segue, but it's on the hockey field. So you guys have done the fun stuff. I'm going to do maybe the boring stuff, but still, I just thought this was a really clever piece of play from the Brisbane Blaze. You can see free hit outside the 25, right on the edge of the 25 there. Jake Wetton standing over the ball, sort of gestures or looks to Tim Howard to come up and take it. And what happens next, I think, is brilliant. It doesn't happen enough. There's not enough set plays around the top of the circle in the 25. So Wetton leaves the ball. We know the rule is that the ball outside the 25 can go straight into the circle. He runs this great arc to the back post. You see all the attention on the top of the circle. Brisbane Blaze player plays the trapdoor. Howard hits the ball dangerously, and it's ruled dangerous, and that's the right call. But look who's sitting on the back post waiting to get a touch. Jake Wetton, all alone. This is one of the best players in the Sultana Brand Hockey One League, standing by himself on the back post, not overly creative. He just runs a great little lead into this space, and New South Wales Pride were very, very lucky not to concede. So that's what caught my eye. That's what caught our eye for this week on the Shootout. Welcome back to the Hockey One Shootout. And from time to time, we get some social mail or people throw some ideas up for discussion across our social media platforms. A couple of good ones have come across the imaginary desks in the last couple of weeks. But this one perked your interest more than anything, Kate. Why don't you lead us off with the burning question this week?
Yeah, so this came up on Twitter the other night when we were talking about New South Wales Pride men being unavailable for a lot of the season. Many of them we know are playing overseas and away. And the person asked the question, should these national players who play for the Kookaburras, should they be required to play Hockey One in order to be eligible for selection for the national team? Obviously, there are pros and cons. We want to be able to have the best teams in each franchise, but also we want to be able to discover young talent. So I wanted to throw it over to you guys. What do you think, Cliffo?
Yeah, I think it's a really good one, and I've heard this debated at many hockey stadiums around Australia. But I come back to, I think the onus is on us to really deliver a league that makes it unmissable for the players, both in terms of having lots of fans turning out and it being the best league for them to display their skills or develop their skills. And I know we'll talk next week about changes we might like to see in the Hockey One League to take it to the next level. But I think for the moment, I'm just loving seeing players like Ben Staines and Matty Brooks become household names. So I think we need to support the athletes to make the best decision for their career and their families at the moment. And I think forcing them to play is a little bit of short-term thinking for mine. What about you, Orch?
Yeah, it's an interesting one. Look, I've got a foot on both sides of the fence. I guess for those unaware who isn't available, or who is unavailable, at the moment, Tom Craig, Tim Brand, Blake Govers, Jeremy Hayward and Matt Dawson from the men, they haven't taken part so far in the league. For the ladies, Caitlin Nobbs, Steph Kershaw, Brooke Paris and Maddie Fitzpatrick also playing overseas. Now, they're all playing in Holland or Belgium. And for people who maybe don't know, you can earn anywhere from $20,000 to maybe $50,000. I would assume someone like Blake might be earning in the Belgian competition to play in their league for 6 months. So we're not talking life-changing money, but for a hockey player, we're talking a really big amount. So, look, I sympathise on one hand. I have been a player that's played overseas, 2 seasons in Holland, 5 seasons in the Hockey India League and earned a nice amount of money. I think it's a great opportunity to experience a different culture. You get to rub shoulders with some of the best players in the world day in and day out. You get to scout as well for the national team and pick up little things that maybe you don't see during tournaments. More than anything, I think it's just a great mental freshen up. I know the program here can be all consuming, so it's a great opportunity to go to a city like Amsterdam, ride your bike around every day of the week to hockey, go to some nice parties, experience the great culture, visit Europe. It's a gateway to the world. So that's one side. The other side is sort of what you touched on, Cliffo. We need the best players from Australia playing in the best league in Australia. So there's a bit of talk around the national programs, or there has been for the last few years, leave the shirt in a better place. I don't necessarily think playing overseas and the short-term money grab is leaving the national shirt in a better place. And my real concern is that in 10, 15, 20 years, there isn't a national shirt because we don't have enough talent coming through to support hockey at a high level. We know that a couple of years ago it almost got thrown out of the Olympics. So I think we need these players playing. The Sultana Brand Hockey One League is poorer for not having them. Ironically, they are richer for not being here. So, look.
But Simon, the thing is, right, they're getting paid what is effectively a professional wage over there. At the moment, Hockey One is growing. We know they're not getting a professional wage here. So they're getting an opportunity to dedicate their career, really, to hockey, maybe do a bit of coaching on the side or a little money earner. But surely that's going to make for better players when there's money in it to professionalise. And then, I mean, we look at Hockey One, that's where we need to get to. It needs to have more money before we can expect that those players dedicate their career time to playing. And I think, unfortunately, we're at this middle ground stage. And maybe there's some sponsors out there that are listening in and might throw some money, but that's what we need to get to. We need to professionalise or risk losing hockey players, and I think you can hold against them for chasing a career that they want to improve in and get better. And in the end, Australia benefits.
Yeah, and I think that's why it's such an interesting and polarising debate. There's the side of course, these players have worked hard their entire life to be so good at hockey. They should capitalise while they can because the window of earning a living off hockey is so short. The other side is if you can't see it, you can't be it. So how does a young player out there who doesn't see Tom Craig running around week by week in this competition here, the Sultana Brand Hockey One League on TV, on KO, on Foxtel, going out to a ground, if they're not present, what does that say about the standing of the league? Cliffo, you got any thoughts?
Yeah, I think you're bang on there, Orch. And, there's a bit of talk around about trying to encourage more high-quality imports into the league as well. And what's the point in doing that if we can't get our best-performing Australian players in the league? But I can also see the other benefits. I know Tim Deven is a young player, Luke Dorner. They were sent off by Rick Charlesworth to the Netherlands to improve their skills, whether it be indoor tackling skills or their flicking skills. And it was really important to their development.
Yeah, right. Wow, that's interesting. And there you go.
Well, yeah, you're spot on. Look, a great debate. We'd love you to join the conversation if you can. Jump online, get involved with the socials. Just have chats with your mates because it's a really interesting one. I know there's a lot of parents out there who are interested in this topic as well. And the players are split. I put a poll up on my Instagram a couple of weeks ago. A bunch of players said that they should play. A bunch of players said let them go and earn the money if they can. So a really interesting one. All I know is I'd love to see the best talent playing in the best league in Australia. I reckon the key is, and again, Cliffo will touch on this next week, maybe we move the window. Maybe the season can shift a month later. Maybe we can get going early in the summer next year. But anyway, that's the burning question. Really good one, Kate. Well, with the main event weekend in Bendigo fast approaching, we thought we'd take a look at the Sultana Brand Hockey One League ladders to give you guys a snapshot of what's to come and how this could all shake out. The main event, for those who don't know, is essentially the final series of the league. It'll be held on November 19 and 20 at the Bendigo Regional Hockey Complex. You can go to hockey1.com.au or to Ticketek to get tickets for that big weekend of action. Be great to get out to the regions as well. We know some of our best players, or a lot of our best players, come from the country. So let's take a look at the ladders now. We start with the women, and it's a logjam at the top. Kate, how do you reckon it's going to shape up?
I think Hockey Club Melbourne definitely in the top four. They've been so strong this year. I don't think anyone can beat them out at this late stage in the season. I also think Perth Thundersticks, those two are shoo-ins. The next two places are less certain. I think it's between Brisbane, New South Wales, and the Chill. So Brisbane play Adelaide in the final round. I reckon Brisbane win and they go to 17 points, so they get up to third. I don't think Chill can beat Perth this week, so they remain on 15. New South Wales win this weekend to 15. So it will all come down to the final match of the very final round, the match in Parks between New South Wales and the Canberra Chill. This is a home match for New South Wales. It's actually the home ground of Mariah Williams. When Williams is on, she is really on. She's dominant and she'll be really difficult to beat. I think her home crowd might inspire the win, and that bodes dangerously for Chill. They have a fast, young, counter-attacking side, but occasionally I think they lack the experience and the structure that New South Wales might have defensively. So I think their strikers, New South Wales strikers in Grace Stewart, midfielders Grace Young, who I talk all the time about, I think they can exploit them. So New South Wales get the fourth place. That's my prediction.
Yeah, interesting, Kate. I reckon you're right. The Canberra-New South Wales game is going to be really clutch in the last round. I reckon Canberra, for the record, will get a result this week against Perth, and then they won't have to worry. That's what they'd be trying to do, secure their passage through to the main event. So I think next week will be all to play for New South Wales after beating Tassie this week. Let's have a look at the boys now. Cliffo, we've got the Blaze up top, 5 games, 4 wins, 20 points. Then we've got the Thundersticks on 17, the Pride 15, the Chill 13, Tassie 10. We can pencil the other two, Hockey Club Melbourne and Adelaide. They can't make it. They're no chance. So who's going to make the 4, mate?
Yeah, well, hasn't the competition really opened up? The team that you said would remain undefeated, Orch, going down in convincing fashion by the Blaze. And I think the addition of Daniel Beale for me just means I'm sticking true to the Blaze can win the Sultana Brand Hockey One League. I've got New South Wales finishing second. I think they'll get up over Perth with that extra game in hand. but I'm going to make the call now that I still think they'll lose the final to the Blaze. But anyway, I've got the Perth locked in for third position. I think David Guest has done a wonderful job with them, but I just don't think they've got that extra gear to go to come the finals. And then Tasmania, in my opinion, can finish in fourth position. I think they can get up over the Canberra Chill. They were a good chance against the New South Wales Pride this week, and then finishing against HC Melbourne is probably a dream finish for them in relation to the rest of the draw. And Canberra Chill, sure, they can finish Tassie and make it, but it's going to be difficult for them to get up over the Perth.
There you go. A lot to shake out. Again, I echoed it before with Kate, with the ladies. Perth versus Canberra this week is massive for both ladies and men's. It's going to go a long way to shaping who can make it to the main event in Bendigo. I'm a little bit nervous about the Pride men. I'm not going to lie. They go down to Tassie without Flynn Ogilvie this week, and their Australian players still aren't back. Lockie Sharp's still out with that hamstring. So a little bit nervous, but it's really interesting. That's why we love the Sultana Brand Hockey One League. A lot to play out over the next 2 weeks. Make sure you tune in when you can. Welcome back to the shootout. The week ahead is upon us. Round 6, the penultimate round of the Sultana Brand Hockey One League, edging closer to that main event in Bendigo. We kick action off this week on a Thursday night. Adelaide versus Hockey Club Melbourne. Kate, talk us through it. What are you looking forward to?
Well, neither of the men's teams in this round. Someone's going to break their losing streak, and I really hope they enjoy it. Unfortunately, Adelaide and Melbourne have had a tough season, so looking forward to who comes out on top on the men's. And then on the women's, very interesting. If Adelaide beat Melbourne, it could throw a real spanner in the works for the top 4, and that supremacy of Hockey Club Melbourne at the top behind Canberra Chill could be threatened. So interesting one, and I think they could do it. They have it in them.
Yeah, it is. The boys playing purely for pride, in my opinion, and the girls, Adelaide, a tiny shred of hope that they can still play in the final series, but we'll wait and see. Cliffo, Tassie hosts their final game of the round robin. Tassie taking on the New South Wales Pride down there on Friday. You'll be pitch side, I'm assuming, mate. What can we expect?
Yeah, I can't wait for this one, Orch. It's the last chance for Hobart to break their record crowd, and it looks a great night of entertainment. New South Wales Pride simply must win to keep their finals hopes alive. While we haven't seen the Pride men fresh off a loss ever before in the Hockey One League, and they're going to need to be at their absolute best to get over Tassie at home. They look like they're peaking at just the right time, and if Jeremy Hayward gets up, then that's going to be a massive inclusion, particularly with the way they play.
Yeah, we just need to watch those fixtures later in the week as well. We know those Australian players are back in the country, but whether or not they'll be allowed to play, we wait and see. One last thing on the Pride before we get to the final match of the round. The Pride boys are doing Movember. So you'll see some very ugly attempts at moustaches coming out for the Pride team. My challenge is men and women, if they want to get involved, Sultana Brand Hockey League wide. Let's get Movember going. Cliffo, challenge to you. Kate, why not?
I'm on it. Can you tell I've been growing it my whole life, Orch?
There you go. It's a wonderful cause. We know how much mental health can affect everyone in our lives. We spoke about it last week with Andrew Charter and the Blue Tree Project. So keep an eye out for those moustaches on the New South Wales team. We'll put their page link up so you can donate as well. But I want to see the league. Maybe we can give an award out during our awards episode in a couple of weeks. Best moustache in a couple of weeks' time. The final match of round 6, it's Perth, the Thundersticks up against the Canberra Chill. We've mentioned it already before. Huge game for both men and for women. Look, I think the Chill have been the surprise packet in both competitions. I've really loved watching them. We've seen the rise of Ben Staines. He's been superb. Andrew Charter's been the best goalkeeper in the comp. Perth, not really sure still where I sit on them. I don't think they can win, but they've got a good team, so we'll see how that shakes out. And in the ladies, of course, the Chill sitting top in the women, so they're doing everything great. They've got a lot of confidence. We've seen the likes of Kalindi Comerford and Laura Gray come out post-match and say they're going all the way, baby. So I can't wait to see them go around again. That's it for us on the shootout this week. Kate, thank you. Adam, thank you. Or Cliffo, I should say. And thank you to everyone watching at home. Till next week, bye-bye or hooroo.